Plants play important ecosystem services, including being food for many animals and fungi, not just for energy, but for providing important metabolites for animals and fungi chemical reactions. They provide oxygen and take out carbon dioxide from the atmosphere. They can prevent erosion with extensive root systems holding soils in place. They can also provide habitat for many other animals and other plants. In fact, plants that grow on other plants are called epiphytes. Forests provide a windbreak as well as shade, which keeps temperatures cooler and more humid for many animals, fungi, and other plant species like ferns. Plants and animals have co-evolved since their origin, with the most visible coevolution occurring between insects and flowering plants. Pollination and herbivory has led to many unique adaptations between flowering plants and the animals that interact with them. Plants can't run away from animal predators, but many have evolved mechanisms that prevent them from being eaten. First is spines, which derive from leaf tissue, and thorns, which derive from stem tissue, which can harm animals that get near them. Some plants take up fungi in their leaves and stems to make them taste awful, and other plants produce lots of alkaloids in their fruit to prevent animals from eating them. And some plants are just straight up poisonous, making them a danger to animals by creating illness or death. Many conifers have resins that repel insects, although they smell good to us. Conifers and some hardwoods make sap to trap insects and prevent from being eaten. Thick bark can also prevent a woody plant from being eaten since most animals can't digest wood, of course with the exception of certain insects like termites and emerald ash borer, as well as deer that have special gut bacteria that can help them digest lignin. Many plants produce sweet, fleshy fruits to entice herbivory in animals. Seeds are resilient against many animal digestive enzymes, and they can be defecated at a distance away from the parent plant, providing nutrients to the developing seeds. In fact, some plants have evolved to have seeds become activated by certain digestive enzymes in animals. In angiosperms, grasses and other plants with feathery flowers, as well as some trees, rely on wind for pollination. 80% of angiosperms rely on animal pollinators from insects, birds, bats, and even the feathers and fur of birds and mammals to travel. Short's goldenrod, which is just endemic to a specific region in northeastern Kentucky around Blue Licks Battlefield State Resort Park, is federally threatened because it relied on the thick buffalo fur to pollinate other goldenrods, and buffalo are really no longer found in Kentucky. The best examples of coevolution are found between a plant's flower and its animal's pollinator. Bird and insect pollinated plants have nectaries and specifically shaped flowers to fit the mouth parts of the pollinator. White or dull colored flowers are usually pollinated by flies or moths, which are attracted to the rotten flesh smell of the flowers, and those flowers open at night specifically for those moths. Brighter colored petals attract specific groups. Hummingbirds love red, butterflies are attracted to more yellows and oranges, and bees can often see patterns at the UV spectrum. Pollination by bees is so important to humanity that over 60% of our food supply depends on them for pollination, so we have to protect the bees at all costs or we are stuck with corn. Ugh. It goes without saying that plants are really important to us, especially since humans are omnivorous, with many of us growing towards a vegetarian/vegan diet. Before the agricultural revolution, humans relied on foraging for fruits and vegetables from the wild. Eventually, they would save some of the seeds from bigger or better looking plants, and thus agriculture was born. Remember, most of what you see in the produce department is a result of thousands of years of selective breeding. Fruits and vegetables contain important sugars and carbs. Nuts and beans contain lots of proteins, matching, if not surpassing, meat. Oils from crushed seeds and fruit such as olives, canola, and peanuts provide necessary lipids. Avoid coconut oil, though. It is not as healthy as it appears due to having saturated fats, which is actually an uncommon feature of plant oils. Most plant oils have unsaturated fats. Beer derives from grains like wheat and rye, wine from grapes and many other fruits, vodka from potatoes, bourbon from corn, rum from sugarcane. Plants provide the necessary sugars for yeast or other microorganisms to ferment the said sugar into carbon dioxide and alcohol. Let's take a look at the non food uses of plants. Plants can provide many different medicines, although be careful with marketing. Marketers rely on the placebo effect to help you think it really works. Salicylic acid, which actually derives from willow bark, is the main ingredient in aspirin, and peer reviewed scientific studies show that this does help with pain. Plants are a good source of vitamins and mineral, although marketing overstates these. A balanced diet is typically enough for good health. Taxol, an ingredient from Pacific yew, is used in the treatment of ovarian cancer. Chamomile is a common ingredient in herbal teas that claims to reduce anxiety. And of course, caffeine derives from coffee beans and other plants which provide more alertness. Marijuana needs more research, but seems to help relieve pain and anxiety in many people. Again, this is a lot to do with marketing. Trees have been used for building homes and furniture and also used to make paper and pulp. Cotton, indigo, hemp, and flax are all important in the textile industry, as well as plants used to dye clothes. Also, plants are just pretty to look at, with thousands of species found worldwide in city squares, parks, and in and around our homes. Speaking of home, the next thing we're going to look at is ecology and see how organisms interact between themselves and their environment.